Good morning, students. Once again, I am here in front of you to teach you how to write a story. I hope you are taking most of your time for your studies. During this lockdown season, you need to give your best. We, your teachers, can guide you and explain the things to you. This year, especially, your output is very important. Take at least 7 to 8 hours for your studies and then revise what is taught to you. Then only you can perform better in the board exam. This topic today that I am going to deal with is story writing. I am going to give you certain techniques. It is a skill to write a story. Story writing is for class 9th as well as 10th. For board exam, it carries 10 marks. It considers a lot. Well done story means you got 10 marks. So my dear students, as you listen to me, you also take a paper and pen so that you can understand these characteristics of a story. I will explain to you step by step. When I evaluate your papers, I see that story writing is written in a paragraph. It looks like paragraph writing. There are many things are missing. We read the question and start writing, but we don't give time to think. My dear students, it is very important to read the question. The question in a story comes in different ways. In most of the papers, the story is given to you as a starter. The starting is given in a situation and then you need to continue the story. It also, outline is given to you, which means all the story in briefly discussed in some words. So you need to conclude the story. And then some time at the end is given, you may write the story from the beginning till the end. I hope you understood the pattern of the question of the story. Let's begin the techniques, how to write a story. Story writing, before you write a story, you need to think. Now what do you have to think? If you are giving 10 to 15 minutes to write the story, 5 minutes at least you need to give your brain. Let your brain think. Now what does that brain do after reading the question? So we have to go through these points. Characteristics of story writing. First thing, that you need to have a problem. If the story gives a problem, then it is okay. In the question, if the problem is there, then you continue. Otherwise, you need to plan a problem. Now, what is this problem? It can be any adventure. It can be a big storm that destroyed certain buildings. It can be a dark night. What happened? It can be kidnapping, or it can be thievery, or it can be a murder. So some problem need to be created in the story. So topic is there. So you understand with that topic, what is my problem going to be? You plan. Second characteristic is that setting. Here you need to answer two questions, where and when, place and time. Which place you started, what time it is. Time, it can be in the morning, it can be in the afternoon, it can be midnight. So, you need to settle what time of the day is that. Then you have to remember the surrounding. My dear children, the third character is plot. Plot, you have to mention few things, that how, why, what, who has to come. Plot is a story. Now, what is your story is about? Here is a little mistake here. Here plot, these comes the answer. You have to answer how, why and what and who. So, who we will, who you have to mention. Plot is a story with actions. So, there will be action events. Without action, story is not become interesting. It has to be rising. Any action, it has to rise. The situation, it has to create a climax later part. So, in your story, you need to start. After starting, you need to raise the story. After raising the story, a moment will come, a climax. So, the problem is that is there, you need to connect to this particular place. It is a rising action in the story, then it has to see that a climax of this story. Climax is something disaster thing that happens. Okay. Now, fourth character I will go. These are the characters in the story. How many characters I need to use? Don't use many characters. It can be 2 or 3. It can be a dragon, thief, hero. Hero also, sometimes it is your own personal experience. You can be villain, a monster, elephant, an ant and elephant. So, that is a contrast, size of the contrast you should mention. So, who are your characters in the story? Characters attracts the story. Then last we see the solution. Now, what is the solution? Maybe you have escaped from the place. It can be success in the exam. It can be helping one another, or your career you have built. So, there is a conclusion, there is a solution. The climax has come. From there you need to get a solution where the story should end. These are the 5 characteristics. I will repeat. First thing is problem, second thing setting, third plot, fourth characters, and fifth solution. So, when you think for all these things, at least you need 4 to 5 minutes. When you have in your mind the whole story, then you can write. Writing is not the problem. So, once thinking is there, then you can write very speedily. Now, for the board, how the marks are divided, I am going to tell you. The marking scheme, 1 mark for the title. Most of the time students, what do? They write the story. There is no beginning, no end. It has to be, there should be a title, very attractive title. By looking at the title, automatically you read the story. So, it carries 1 mark. ये ऐसा भी नहीं है कि खाली आप टाइटल ही लिखा और स्टोरी नहीं है तो आपको मार्क्स नहीं मिलने का. Second marking scheme is that 4 marks is content. The content is divided here. So, you see the setting is there, whether the plot is there, very interesting or not, who are the characters. So, it has to be content. Now, fifth one, 5 marks for your expression, creativity, how you have expressed the story. Some students express so well, dialogue form they use, the indirect form they use. So, it is the creativity of a person, creativity of the thought as well as creativity in writing. So, these are the 10 marks which are divided for the story. Now, next main problem that a student faces is how to make paragraphs. Now, I am going to give you a few techniques for it. Now, paragraph, first paragraph, the story, if a story question, if there is starter, then you start the story from there, then you continue. So, your first paragraph you think of setting, where, when, so you can begin what happened, so you can tell that particular point there in the first paragraph. Then go to the second paragraph where your plot is there. In one paragraph, slowly raise your story. When you raise the story, then it has to reach climax. Climax, what happens? You can give in the third paragraph, or you send the second paragraph, you can give the action, or it can be combined both. What happens? Story should be 150 to 200 words. You need to divide your time and also the words. Then later part you have last paragraph where you get the conclusion, that is the solution part of it. This I have made it easy for you, so that when you write a story, you write it in a paragraph. First paragraph, I repeat, you write about the setting. If the story is given, you complete that one paragraph, which can be in 40 words. Then second and third paragraph you write 60 words, or last paragraph again you write in 20 to 30 words. So, do not write more than 200 words. It is just 2 pages that you need to write, and each time when you write, after the paragraph leave a line, start the second paragraph. So, in a story it can be 4, 5 or 3, 4 paragraphs. This is the way, if you write the story, I think you are able to get the full marks or maximum marks in story writing. I hope you understood what is a story writing and why it is important. Also I have told, it is not only for your paper, for the board paper, but it is also important to use your creativity. Whenever you feel that you want to write, start writing a story about your own life experience. Make a story writing. I hope you will make this lecture or my class a meaningful one, but it will come very easy when you start writing. Thank you, my children. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your studies. Love your studies. After this story writing, start writing the stories and submit those stories to your teachers. Thank you.